So talk to us about the role that the U.S. played in these mediation talks. Obviously, a heavy hand here, and it seems to be working.
Well, you know what it is? It was a beautiful partnership. This was the result of the Vice President, J.D. Vance, of course, this entire government moving through the vision and implementing the insight and vision of President Trump, along with, of course, my guy, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. It's been a long 48 hours, but this is the point of what we do. Multiple phone calls, as the Secretary has noted on his own X account, multiple phone calls at multiple levels with each government were had, certainly with the prime ministers, over this period of time, back and forth conversations, and both, again, J.D. Vance, our Vice President, and the Secretary of State, clearly making a difference for what clearly is a generational issue between Pakistan and India. So the beautiful thing is that there is a ceasefire that now exists, and we look forward to hopefully managing more conversations and having this endure.
Yeah, you know, the stakes just can't be higher, and you're riding this, we're all riding this roller coaster, watching things escalate, de-escalate. What are the possible global impacts if this ceasefire does not hold? We all need it to hold, but what happens if it doesn't, Tammy?
Well, look, we see a world that there are many different problems that this administration is focused on. President Trump has made it clearly at the very beginning of his administration the North Star of what matters to him, which is to be a peacemaker. And that's something that can only happen when the world takes you seriously, understands your power, your influence, and the strength of the United States itself matters. So that when you are having conversations, as the Secretary has been doing for 48 hours now, when you're speaking to the Secretary of State for the United States, and there are relationships with both countries, that you can make the difference when it comes to what you can offer, what you remind the parties of. But we've also seen, the world knows, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, the nature of what's happening with North Korea, China, et cetera, that this is not a way for any human being to live. There's clearly no solution that can come from the military, from war, from wholesale slaughter. If there was a solution, none of this would still be going on. So President Trump brings new ideas. He brings this notion that, you know, we've got to think differently, but then he delivers in that regard with a team that he's put together that can speak to all the people around the world about what needs to happen now, that the status quo is unacceptable. And clearly the issues that between India and Pakistan, we know, again, have been generational. And this is exactly the kind of a situation where President Trump's vision and Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance can make a difference for everyone there, but around the world, that people can realize it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah. So many people paying attention to this. And, you know, again, the breaking news just happening this morning. So we'll continue to watch how this evolves. And I'd like you to come back and tell us if you've got updates on that. But I also want to ask you, while I have you, about the tariff situation, the high-stakes tariff talks. The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, meeting with top Chinese officials in Switzerland today, as we know, over this growing U.S.-China trade dispute. So tell us, Tammy, is this getting us one step closer to some sort of resolution? How do you see it? Is it getting closer, or is it going to take some time?
Well, obviously, we also saw with this incredible deal the president made with the United Kingdom, one indication of what is possible in working together. When this began, Laura, the president noted that he was evening the playing field, and that once that occurred, we would go into bilateral conversations with everybody about what kind of a deal we could get. Remember, obviously, he's the best deal maker in the world, and we are reaping the benefit of that here. So he said, look, this is now, once it's even, we're going to go and we're going to speak with people. And I think what the various countries have seen, we have over, I think, 130, if not more at this point, a country stepping up saying, we want our own deal. And of course, now China, everyone was thinking, oh, this is never going to work and it's never going to happen. Donald Trump makes the impossible happen, but he also makes the possible occur because he dares to say we can do this differently. This is the right of the United States. We deserve to be treated differently. We are not going to continue to be ripped off. And for the world, it makes a difference because then everybody's citizens benefit.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.